And welcome. So welcome back to our classes. Sorry, I've disappeared for the last 20-some days. As I was telling these guys, everything went well, got back yesterday, and it's Monday and back to work. So basically that's it. We'll get back into things. I should have another class tomorrow. I have family visiting now, which I'm very excited about. But I'm also going to take off for that as well. So we're moving Wednesday's class to tomorrow. I have contacted Thomas in hopes that he will move the class, or I guess he doesn't have any classes up yet. So I did mention that to him today. So hopefully he'll see that. And so we're back. And Bob is here, and Gabriel is here as well, but not going to speak, and that's fine. And I think we're just going to get started. So a little bit of grammar. Let's see if I can remember anything about grammar. Should be okay. No, I did the presentation this morning. That's all ready to go. It's not as detailed as I think I wanted it, but it's still clear. So we're going to have some fun with working with a future tense, but in the past. So it sounds a bit confusing, and that's okay. So what I'll do is I'll just screen share is the word that I'm looking for. I can't remember anything. I don't think I'm jet lagged. I'm just tired. But I think that's part of the issue with being jet lagged. So, like I said, we're talking about the future, a future tense, but in the past. Now, so first what we want to do is just talk about what the be going to verb tense is, because it's one of our 7 future verb tenses. Okay. So I'm just going to read this quickly. It says, as you might know, we normally learn the be going to when speaking in the future tense. Today we'll look at it, but using it in the past. So let's take a look. However, what we're going to do first is start with the structure as we know it in the present tense. Now, we also can use a present tense in the future. For example, the present simple, when I say, I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. Okay, I have. Have is in the present tense, and we have tomorrow because we can use the present simple with appointments, etc. Okay, I'm going to the doctor's tomorrow. Okay, I'm going. And so we're using the present continuous. So we do use the present tenses also with the future, and so that's exactly what we're doing here. So what I've done is just a kind of a quick little, chart here for you to see and easily see it. Okay, so we're just, in this column, we have our subject, then we have the verb to be, then we have our going to, because this never changes, all right? Then we have our complement, all right, and the end of the sentence. So that's why there's periods. I knew that was going to happen. That's why there's not a period in that one. Actually, maybe I could just move this over a tiny bit. Yep, and we'll get that in there. So now it's correct. Okay, technically, no, these should not be capital, but this is what this chart did, and it says it's wrong if it's not in capital. So that's not my fault, but that's a technical issue with the document. So, for example, we say, I am going to sing. Okay, so this is, I'm going to sing. Now, I don't have any time references or time clauses in these sentences just because, I just want to do it basic. So, Bob, as you're the only one able to speak today, what does I am going to sing? And Ken just joined. So while Ken is, hey, Ken.
Hey, Ken.
You're mute, Ken.
Yes.
Hello?
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You can hear me, right?
Yes, now I hear you.
Okay, good. So welcome, Ken. We were just getting started with a review on the be going to verb tense, and Bob was going to explain, hopefully, what I am going to sing means. When we hear something, it's important that we understand it, but also understand it correctly. So we're kind of going to dissect or investigate into this verb tense first, in the normal verb tense, and then we'll look at it as in the past tense. Okay? So Bob, tell me, if I say I am going to sing, what do you understand? What does it mean to you?
I understand this moment. On this moment, you're going to sing.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Well, there's three different ways, three different meanings about the be going to verb tense. So yeah, something that I might do now, like in a minute, for example, that would be fine. So that's good. And then you are going to do homework. Ken, what can you tell me about that sentence? You are going to do homework.
It's kind of plan, or yeah, maybe
Good.
a near future plan, probably.
Okay, perfect. Yep, it sounds like you are going to do homework maybe this afternoon, maybe after maybe soccer, football practice, or something. I will do homework tonight, maybe. Yes, absolutely. Sometime today, but later. It could be even tomorrow. Like I said, without the context, we can kind of play with this sentence and use it in many different ways. And because there's no time clause. But yes, it means later. So we still have the understanding that it's a future tense. Okay? With the next one, he, she, it is going to read later. Again, we don't know exactly when exactly, but at some point later today. If we say later, normally it's still the same day. It does not normally mean that it's maybe tomorrow. If it's tomorrow, then we would write tomorrow. Okay? And then we are going to help her probably later as well. Again, the time, we don't need the time clause here. And I tried to fix this before. Sorry, I just want all of this together. Okay, life looks a little bit better right now. Perfect. And they are going to jump. What kind of sensation do you get with that sentence? They are going to jump. You're going to help her in the future. Yes, exactly. Very good. What about the last one? They are going to jump. Any idea? Bob, do you want to answer that? They are going to jump.
Maybe they are going to jump.
Like, for example, bungee jumping, extreme sports, or something like that. Jump off a bridge, but like safely.
or to see, jump to see.
Sure, they're going to jump. Maybe they're going to jump, for example, at a concert when they're listening to rock music. I don't know.
Oh, yes.
So there's many different contexts. Like I said, it's not specific, but it's just in general, so we kind of have an idea. They're going to jump. It could be maybe a near future. Could be later today. We just don't know. But it's still the idea that it's in the future, okay? And I just want to show you that here, in this column, we're using the present, okay? We're not using future like will or anything like that, okay? And a lot of people could get this confused with the present continuous. Now, I want to highlight going and not to, but that's not working right now. So am and going, for example, is I'm going to work. That's just the present continuous. So I'm just going to write this. I'm going to work. I am going to go to work. So let's talk about the differences between these two sentences before we continue. To me, they sound quite different. But to a non-native, it could sound quite similar. So what do you think about this? who would like to answer first? And David, you can go ahead and write what you think the differences are. Bob?
Well, I think first version, I'm going to work.
Okay.
Little bit strange. I'm going to go. Yes, I know this tense, but this is not usually.
Okay.
Usually for the future is I'm going to work. I'm going to ship. I'm going to sing song, play guitar, etc.
Okay. Good, thank you. Ken, what are the feelings you get from these two sentences? I'm going to work. I am going to go to work.
The first sentence, I think, going to, how can I say, going to work, something. And the second sentence, maybe I'm physically going to workplace.
Okay. Well, I'm actually here to tell you both that there's quite a big difference between these sentences. For example, I'm going to work to me sounds like I'm doing it now. It's the present continuous. I'm going to work. If I say I'm later, just that word later means it's in the future. If I say I'm then it has a different context. Does that make sense? Any questions?
Which means that this person physically going to the workplace?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they say I'm going to work at the moment. Is maybe I'm talking to you on my mobile or cell phone and I'm walking to work. Oh, I'm going to work at the moment. Or if I'm sitting down here at home and I'm like, oh, I'm going to work later. So what's really happening is when I have, let's do the later.
So it's not a plan.
Well, later, this is the present continuous in the future. And Gabriel, yeah, I'll get to that in a second. And then when I say that at the moment, it means now. So it's the present continuous, but now. And we do use the present continuous as future and as in the moment present. So just by changing that time clause in here, which is later or at the moment, we're changing it to either mean present or future. That's what's happening between those two sentences. So when I say I'm going to work, to me it sounds like it could be future, but it could be in the moment as well. It only depends on the time clause, and we don't have one. When we say I'm going to go to work, it is correct. We do say this, even though it's repeating the verb go and the preposition to. It is technically correct, and we would use this more for future. And actually, we use the be going to verb tense more often than the present continuous when used in the future tense. So with that, questions? Do you have any specific questions? And David, yeah, it could be tomorrow. I'm going to go to work tomorrow, later. As just like the other sentence, we don't have a time clause. Depending on that time clause, yes, it could be tomorrow. I'm going to go to work tomorrow, so I have to go to bed early tonight. Bob, do you have any other comments over there?
Yes.
Okay.
Are we going to class lessons tomorrow on Intenga?
Yes, Thomas,
yes.
Thomas confirmed that.
Oh, very, very good. At what time? At 3:00 p.m.?
3 o'clock, yeah, the normal Wednesday time. So yeah, Ken, tomorrow we're doing the class instead of on Wednesday because I have family coming. And yes, Thomas has confirmed that at 1:13 today. He said he was going to do it over the weekend and didn't have time. So a little friendly reminder never helps or never hurts. So yes, tomorrow we will have class. Tomorrow we are going to have class because it's a planned action, yes. Or we will definitely have class tomorrow. So, even changing your future tenses is quite confusing because you can use different future tenses and it's got the same meaning. So which is correct? Whatever sounds good to you, okay? And sometimes that's the most difficult because it's more open. It's you can choose. It doesn't have to be this or that. And that's when you really get to understand the language and feel the language and how, you work with it. So, other questions? About anything we've talked about up until now? Okay. Cautiously, I'm going to continue. Okay. So again, we're just reviewing this, and so what I just want to do here is I'll have Bob. Why don't you read all of these sentences? These are all in the negative. Okay. Now we can do. Actually, am not is the only one that can't. We can do aren't as well or isn't. Okay. And this is fine. It doesn't matter. The difference is you would not. What is it called? Contract. These, the verb to be and the negative, if it's in a formal situation, you would leave that like this for formal. Aren't, in this case, the contracted is the informal part, okay? So Bob will have you read these sentences, okay?
Okay. I'm not going to study.
German.
You are not going to drive. He isn't going to write. We are not going to be loud. They are not going to dance.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, look at that. Mr. Thomas is here.
Oh.
It's been a while, hasn't
Better
it?
late than never.
Can you hear me, yeah?
Yep, we can hear you.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
How is everybody? Who's
Good.
Mr. Debro?
He's
Motors.
been here before, a couple times. He's in the office, so he can't speak today, but he's communicating via chat.
Sharif. Okay. Yes. How are you? My God, that's been a long time since we've had contact. I hope you're well.
So
okay.
Thomas, Bob has some interesting information for you. Bob, what do you?
To explain, Thomas, what's happening?
Yeah.
Oh, hello, Thomas. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you
again on the Intenga. And what's happening in my company, ship's company? We have one ship varies in the winter season.
Yes.
We have a lot of German passengers.
Dreadful.
And main language on this ship Astor is German.
Oh my goodness gracious! You poor man.
And he's
So-
going
Yeah.
next
So
month
you-
for 6 months.
6 months. And my manager tell me, Bob, you must refresh your German. You have relatives in Germany, and
Me too. I must refresh my German.
I actually was thinking about telling him about Jade. I know Jade's she's busy this week or out, so I thought about connecting them, but he said he doesn't want to refresh his German.
and I told my
Go on.
I told my manager, wunderschön. Wunderschön.
Wunderbar, hervorragend.
Wunderbar, yes.
Well, I suppose, Becky, that's not something you can offer, is it really?
No,
German
unfortunately, it's one of the few things I can't offer.
I'm not sure I want to know what the other ones, but
Not that much.
Spanish. You do Spanish, I
Yeah,
suppose.
exactly. I do Spanish.
But could you not work on a Spanish ship?
He's
Yes,
actually been in Spain.
this is good idea. I like Spanish music so much.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Work on a No, I mean, German teachers is, believe it or not, they're actually very difficult to get. We teach German in Germany, and we always have more problems finding German teachers than any other teachers, because most German teachers, believe it or not, work at school. They work in schools. So it's actually it's probably the same as Spanish teachers. It's probably not that easy to get proper Spanish teachers in Spain. So
You're
yes,
right with that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
this is always the strange thing, isn't it? So yes. Anyway, how is everybody? How are you, Ken?
Yes, I'm fine. How are you?
Good. You're still with us. I'm ever so impressed. Is there well, we should really Becky, we need to meet at some point, really, don't we, to see whether we can do things different. Ken doesn't like the old platform, do you, Ken?
Old platform? What do you mean?
You tried it once. It's called the Big Blue Button.
Yes, it's changed a lot since we've used it in Tango.
Ah, the website. In Tango website, you mean?
No, the Big Blue Button. It's the system we used. Instead of Hangouts, we used a different system, didn't we?
Oh.
And they've improved massively, and you can do it via mobile phone now and all sorts of things. Even iPhone, from iOS 11, you can do it on iPhones. So, but yes. Anyway, be nice to have a few more lessons and sort of Hangouts haven't really changed, have they? If I look at it, there's nothing new, is there?
No, not really. I don't really know how to use it anyway, if there were.
Well, I can't see anything. Showcase, what have we got? Screen share, chat, okay. I mean, it works.
Yeah, everything's basically the same. They took away that YouTube thing, and that was basically it, so...
Yeah, okay, well... Anyway, I just thought I'd say hello. So you've got a lesson tomorrow on young bosses.
That's what it was. Yep.
Young bosses, yes. Oh God, it's terrible. You know, the worst kind are not the young bosses I can cope with. That were basically junior to me, but the people that I find really difficult are human resources people. Does anybody know human resources people? Anybody work for a company where you have human resources people in England? Are these young, dynamic, sort of male or female who think they know everything, and they're not trained in. They weren't trained in my profession, which was nursing, but they seem to tell me what to do. And it's like without any clinical background, and they're the worst kind. They're much worse than bosses, young bosses. So anyway, I'm just.
That would be a good, interesting conversation as well. I guess I hadn't thought of that. I've never really had to work with human resources, so.
They're dreadful people, absolutely dreadful. So yes, I'll try to. It's 10:30, isn't it, tomorrow?
Actually, that one's gonna be at 3 tomorrow. Did you put that in at the other time? Because I had changed that.
No, I just as well you're saying that. So it's 3 to 4, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll change that now then.
Okay.
Now I put 10:30. I just took it. Yes, I remember you actually telling me, but it was a long time ago. So I was not going to study. I was not going to change it.
Well, I can change it in the Hangout. Yeah, I've discovered how to do that. So, common sense stuff. It's actually not that difficult, but.
Actually, to be honest, you can probably put in this stuff yourself by now. I'm sure you're quite. There's a few German things that. No, there's a few German things that I need to put in. Otherwise, it doesn't work actually. So no, that wouldn't work. But yes. All right. Well, I just thought I'd pop in, and hopefully more often. And I'll try it at 3 to 4 tomorrow. I'll see. Tuesday, isn't it, tomorrow?
Yeah,
no.
Tuesday's tomorrow.
Yeah, no, that won't be possible tomorrow. 10:30 I could have made, but not 3 o'clock. So I won't be there tomorrow. Sorry about that.
Okay, that's okay.
I'll do the lessons over the weekend, Becky. The rest of them for next month.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So have a lovely lesson.
Thank you.
Sharafuddin, sorry I missed you. You were one of the first ever, together with Marco. Roberto came later, I think, and then of course Ken, and both of you all came around at the same time. But Sharafuddin was one of the first, together with Adnan. Do you remember Adnan, Sharafuddin?
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. But yes, you were one of the first to join us. So I hope everything is going great and your business is going great. And it appears you have a garage or something like that. Is it Daybro? What does it say?
Motors, something, yeah.
Yeah, motors. So I hope it's all going well. And yeah, so bye-bye for now. And I speak to you, Becky, as well. As I said, this old lady hasn't contacted us yet. So if she does, then you'll need to teach me how to teach.
Perfect. I messaged the girls today too, letting them know I was back if they needed anything. So
okay, are you still doing lessons with Jade and the various people, Stephanie and?
Well, we haven't. We stopped when I left. So I just messaged them, and I just don't know what. I like I said, just before class, I messaged them about if they need anything, so we'll kind of see what happens there. But they were kind of left at like a pretty good state, but I'm sure they're going to have questions and things that they will need some either help with or, you know, planning ideas or something like that. So I'd kind of like to touch base with them this week or next week.
Yeah, try to, even though they're doing all fantastically here. Good job, well done. But try to have as regular meetings as it's possible. Isabella, that was a long time ago, Sharafuddin. She left because she was just having some problems. I think she had some problems with people in Intenga. So it was very sad. I wrote a long message to her wishing her all the best. But she never came back after that, Sharafuddin.
Yeah, there's been a lot of those as well.
So I'm sorry about that. She won't be joining us. I think she was sick, yeah. That's the bottom line. But I can't discuss the details of it. So, but yes, I liked Isabella a lot. It's a shame she isn't around anymore. Anyway, you all take care and have a lovely afternoon. The sun is coming out here, so that's good.
Thanks for popping in.
And I've got to collect my car now because it needed an oil change. So
fantastic. Sounds like a lot of fun.
You take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. Perfect. So with that, so basically, Bob, you did great reading these. And so basically, it's just the negative of the future. And so what I want to do very quickly now is just take a look and Ken, I'm just going to move these down for you, and then Ken, I'll have you read these, okay? Okay, Ken, you can read these questions.
Am I going to go? Are you going to make your bed? Is he, she, it going to eat? Are we going to make a car? Are they going to call us?
Okay, good. So again, these are just the typical questions in the be going to normal tense. Since we had Thomas's little surprise visit, we're going to just go to the other part of this now, okay? So as I said, the verb tenses above are in the present tense, even though the meaning is for the future, okay? Now we're going to take a look at the past tense of these examples. So we can see the little difference. There really is. So basically, like I said, I copied and pasted literally the sentences here, and I've highlighted the difference. As you can see, there's one difference in each sentence, and it's the verb to be. That's the only change, okay? So if I say, I was going to sing, what does that mean? I was going to sing. Did I sing? Did I not sing? What happened? Bob, what do you think?
This is mean
So So think,
It's happening yesterday, not now. I was going to sing, or you sing before 1 hour. Not now. Yes.
right.
I was going to sing. Yes, like my performance was happening before 1 hour, half hour.
Okay, yes. So I was going to sing, but actually, in the end, did I sing or did I not sing?
Yes, actually, you singing in the past.
I didn't actually. I did not sing.
Oh.
I was going to sing it. In the end, I did not. Okay, so I interrupted this. So this is another thing where it can be very confusing to understand this. Okay, so for example, when I say you were going to do homework, well, you were going to do the homework, but at the last minute something happened and you ended up not doing the homework. Okay. Ken, what can you tell us about this? And yet, David, yeah, when she attended the party, I was going to sing. So basically, I was going to sing, but she entered the room and you ended up not singing. Okay. So yes, so that's fine. So Ken, I'm sorry. Yeah. What do you think about this?
Okay. Maybe this person didn't sing because she entered the room.
Exactly. Something happened. So, I mean, in Spanish, this would be so easy to translate, but now that I can't do that, unless Bob, you want to learn Spanish, it means I was going to do something, but it didn't happen. So I do have some examples in which we'll see this, and so the repetition of these sentences will be very good. But basically, as far as the structure goes, this is it. Okay, so we're just using the verb to be in the past simple tense to make this whole tense negative. Okay? Any questions about that? No.
No.
Okay. Right. So now what I want to do is take a look at this, the negative. I was not going to study, but then I realized I had an exam, so I had to. Something like that. So you, in this case, weren't going to do something. However, there was another action or a situation that happened, and you probably did this action then. Does that make sense? It's quite confusing. What do you think about this?
Maybe
yep.
we can get the meaning by context. But she entered the room. Suggests didn't think.
Okay, so I'm going to write a sentence. So this is a full sentence, okay? They were not going to dance, but they heard a song and decided to dance, okay? So basically, if I wanted to write this a little different, I would say they weren't going to dance, but they heard their favorite song and decided to. Now, in this case, I don't need to add the word dance again because we already know the action that they were or were not going to do. So I don't need to put the word dance, but to make it complete and easier to understand, I have written it, okay? So it kind of does the opposite of what you think, okay? So for example, I didn't dance is the past simple, and you didn't dance. So there was no dancing that went on, okay? In this case, it's kind of the opposite. I was not going to study. You see a negative and you think, oh, you didn't study. But no, it's a little different and it's the opposite in this case. Bob, how do you feel about this? Is this new for you?
Yes.
Are you sad, Bob?
A little bit.
Well, hey, welcome to English Today. This is exactly why I do these classes. So I'm just trying to think. This is what you would. Yep.
So I think the context is very important to get the meaning. Actually, because even the same phrase means different meaning, as you explained. So.
Okay. Good. Exactly. Yeah. You see something, you think it's a negative, and then you look at it and, well, wait a second. It's the context. So, I mean, this is quite difficult. For example, if this were present, it would be, I am not going to study. That is literally a future action. I'm not studying later, for example. That's what that means. Now, in this case, when it goes into the past, I was not going to study, but then I realized my exam's tomorrow and I needed to. Something like that, in which it changes. And so I only have the basics here so we can see the structure. Because sometimes when we have a lot of words, as we do in this with the be going to, plus the subject, plus the complement, I'm trying to write it as easy as possible so you can see what's going on here, okay? But then later, the context is difficult. Okay. Bob or Ken, any other things here? No? Okay. Sheriff Raheen, if you want, you can write questions. I'm just going to go through the question forms first, and then we'll go and look at some examples I have and talk about what's actually happening. So, was I going to go? Were you going to make your bed? Was he, she, it going to eat? Were they going to make a cake? Were they going to call us? So all of these are, again, the past tense. And basically what we do is we change the verb to be and the subject in this case, as far as the questions. And that happens with other questions as well. We exchange, or interchange, I could say, the subject with the modal verb, or what's the other one? Wow, my vocabulary in the English world has disappeared. The auxiliary verb, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, so this isn't new, but we still have the going to over here, and then the be goes here, so it's a little bit confusing, but this is what it is, okay? Were you going to make your bed? Sometimes these are like, actually, we'll see that. I'll wait to do that. Were you going to make your bed? Kind of suggestions almost. Was he going to eat? I thought he was going to eat. Was he going to eat? Did he eat? So this is kind of a little different as far as the question form. Any questions or anything like that with this? Again, it's a little bit different here.
Clear.
Okay. Well, Ken, do you have any comments before I move down?
No, thank you.
Okay. This is really what I want to get to. So when do we use this tense? We talk about something planned, as we said in the first part with I was going to sing. So I planned on singing in the future, but then something happened, okay? We can see evidence of something, or when something was about to happen or just about to happen. It was going to happen and didn't, okay? So there's those kinds of parts. Now, blah, 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 blah. Actually, I just want to skip this and go down because we're a little short on time now. So I was going to call you, but I lost your phone number. What does this mean? And I'd like Bob to answer this if possible.
I was going to call you, but I lost your phone number.
So now we have context as well. So that should help. So what do you think about this?
For me, this is very clear. I was going to call you, but I lost your phone number.
Okay, so in the end, could the person call?
Yes. I can't to call this person because I have not phone number.
Right. It's impossible to call. I was going to
Yes.
call you, but
Yes.
I couldn't. I lost your phone number.
I lost the phone number. Yes.
It was
Impossible to call.
impossible. Exactly. So, here, actually, in a lot of these sentences that we'll see, I'm using this connector.
Mhm.
But of course, we have other connectors we could use. However, this is the easiest because it's very basic, and the connector but basically means there's a contrast.
This is contrast. Yes.
Good. So I was going to do something, but in the end I couldn't. Okay?
Yes.
So I want to go to this next one. Like, I want to do as many of these as possible. I don't have a million, but I have enough that I'd like to get through some. So Ken, we're going to direct this one to you and say, she was going to eat lunch, but she got a phone call. So what happened in this situation?
Because of the phone call, she couldn't eat lunch.
Very good. Very simple. Ken goes right directly to it. So very good. Now, so she couldn't eat lunch when in the moment that she wanted. Not saying, I mean, maybe later she did eat lunch, but it wasn't when she actually intended to eat lunch. Okay. So just, there's to show you, this would be, something planned. Lunch was planned, but then something else happened. Okay. Or it could be this situation as well when something is about to happen, but she didn't know it. So it's a little different. Okay. Next. Okay. Bob, back to you on this one. And this is one I want to mention as well. It says, were or weren't you going to go Sunday? Now, I have this to kind of help you all understand that if I do this in the positive or in the negative, it kind of means something different. Actually, let me help you, Bob. Don't worry. You sit back and relax. So if I were to say, were you going to go to the party on Sunday? Before Sunday, let's say, well, okay, today's Monday. So yesterday there was a party. And I say, oh, were you going to go to the party on Sunday? I didn't see you there, for example. So did you plan or were you planning on going to the party? And maybe you say, yes. Yeah, I planned on it. But in the end, you didn't go, for example. Okay, maybe it happens. Sometimes you're tired, something comes up, you can't. And I say, or I can say, hey, Bob, weren't you going to go to the party on Sunday? Because I thought you said you were going to go and you didn't. So now weren't you? I'm pretty sure that you were going to. But again, we're using the opposite form of this. If I say, I thought you were going to go to the party on Sunday, is a lot clearer than weren't you going to go. I'm just going to write this up. Thought you were going to go to the party on Sunday. So this is a normal sentence. I thought you were going to go. Okay. Now in the shorter one, weren't you going to go to the party on Sunday? I'm saying the exact same thing, but it's quite confusing, isn't it, Bob?
Yes. A little bit confusing.
Let's not lie. I know. Welcome to English on Monday.
But because we have a break 1 month and we have not continuously, this is very first tough lessons after break.
Well, we jumped right into where we left off, difficult things. Now, I know it's difficult, but it's more colloquial. Ken, what do you think of this? I mean, you've heard these before, right?
And Japanese has similar expressions. So I understand.
Okay.
Yeah, different. Want you
Okay.
sound like a bit horsey sometimes.
Right. So the sentence that I wrote in the chat box is, I thought you were going to go to the party on Sunday, is very long. So instead of saying, I thought you were, we'll just say, weren't you going to go to the party on Sunday? So there's kind of like a suggestive, well, I thought you were going to go, but you didn't in the end. So this is kind of like a magical language here, using it like in the past as well. Does that kind of, I mean, how do you feel about this?
Also, I heard, why don't you go to the restaurant? And why, I heard, why don't we, using why we sounds better in English. Is it right?
Well, that's for suggestions. I mean, why don't you, for example, or why don't we is making a suggestion. If I say, why didn't you go, then obviously that didn't represents the past. So it completely depends on the words you say and the present or the past. Or you could say, why don't we go to this restaurant? It's a suggestion saying, hey, I think it's a good idea. Let's do it. They're kind of talking about a lot of things with the kind of the similar phrase.
So saying why don't you, it doesn't sound bad. But
no, it's just a suggestion talking about the present to the future. Why don't you help me tomorrow?
Okay.
You say maybe can you say, oh, I'm free all tomorrow? Say, hey, why don't you help me tomorrow? Or why don't we go to this new restaurant then?
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, good. Okay, so yeah, a little different there. That's more for suggestions. I just want to take a look at this next one here. So it was going to rain, but suddenly the sun came out. So this is when something was going to happen. It was just about to rain, but then all of a sudden the sun came out and it didn't rain. Okay, so quite different here as well. I mean, it intended on raining. It was going to rain, but it didn't in the end. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Like I said, by looking at different examples and starting to understand the context of this verb tense, it kind of helps it a little bit more. They weren't going to buy a new home, but then decided it was a good idea financially. So they were not going to do something, but suddenly something else happened, and then they decided to. So even though I'm using a negative here, in the end result is that they did buy a new home. So this is one of those verb tenses that can be very confusing, okay? When you hear, like Bob and the whole singing situation, it sounded like you sang, but in the end, I actually didn't. So, you know, the context here is really important, okay? I have a question here, but it's not this one. He was going to buy a new TV, but then he changed his mind. So he was going to, but in the end, he didn't. Like I said, a lot of these are in contrast. So even though it's in the positive, the outcome or the final event was no. It was a negative. Well, where was that question then? Oh, weren't you going to the party on Sunday? That was the question. Okay. All right. So confusing issues here. Any questions quickly before we end? No?
Not from me.
All right, so maybe I could do a different class on this too, because it is confusing. But I'm kind of glad that we talked about it for the most part today. I know there's more that we could still talk about, but just to kind of understand a little bit more. So if you want to review and come back a different day and, you know, talk, and we can do another class about this, I think it would be a good idea. Just because it's not what you think. You know, you see something in the positive, but it's not a positive. So life gets a little confusing there. Hopefully Bob will come back in the next minute, but we are at the end of our class for today. And that's it. So tomorrow, as Thomas said, at 3 o'clock Spain time, normal Wednesday time, we're doing a conversation about young bosses. So I'll have different things up that we can talk about, see your opinions. And as Thomas said, you know, it's quite different when it's HR. So we'll have all of those opinions tomorrow then. as of now, we're finished, and it's lunchtime for me. So I'm gonna go get some
Yes.
food. Yay!
We are starving.
And
We are starving.
I'm kind of hungry. Yeah. There's not a lot of food in the house since the grocery store was closed yesterday. So yeah, going to get some food now, and that's it. So we'll see you tomorrow, and then next week, I promise everything will be back to normal. Monday, Wednesday classes as usual. Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
you
Enjoy
very
your
much.
Monday. Happy Monday. It's sunny outside. You're very welcome. And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow, okay?
Yes.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Goodbye. Goodbye, Ken.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.